let's speak about the serious issue of what is causing your unhappiness, your ongoing unhappiness in your life. We have these sudden onsets of maybe sometimes feeling down and out, feeling demotivated, feeling depressed, feeling anything like that. And if you've been on this planet for a minute, like myself, then you would have had those episodes. It's all part of being human. But why is it that you are having them, and what is it that you can do about them? So welcome to this video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I'm a licensed transformation coach, and I just want to apologize in advance because there might be some incessant barking at some point in this video that might take place. So if it does happen, please do accept my apology in advance. So I want to tell you a quick story before I get into this, to put it into context how important this is and why this is important, and how this might relate to your life. So I want you to listen to the story, but I want you to see how this might relate to your life. Okay, so I'm currently staying with a friend of mine, and I've got a doggie. I've got a Jack Russell, and she's got a Yorkie. Now, if you know anything about doggies, you will know that Yorkies have got pretty much a will of their own. They will do something, and then for some other time they won't do it. So we are both holistic practitioners, and so yesterday my friend was very, very busy, and I had some time, so I decided to take the doggies for a walk here. And of course, my Jack Russell is ever so excited to go for his walk here. But then, probably just 3 houses down the block, Yorkie just eat pancake. So basically, pancake is, if you don't know, it's like where the dog just throws himself flat on the ground and they're not going to move. The only way to make them move is either you're going to pick them up, or obviously you are going to drag them, which of course nobody's going to do because that is just inhumane and animal cruelty. So anyway, so I bring the doggy back home, and myself and my dog goes for a walk. And then I just suddenly experience myself feeling very down, like just heavy, just depressed. I don't even know why. I'm just feeling down. I feel as if something really terrible has happened, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this about? Now, because of being a hypnotherapist and because of being a Theta Healing practitioner and an NLP practitioner, I know that there's a reason for this. And this is the thing about a problem in life, a challenging situation, anything bad that comes our way. It is the opportunity to either flow deeper into the non-serving pattern, or it's an opportunity to actually expand outwards and to grow in a way that can actually positively propel you forward. But in order to do that, it is necessary for you to have an understanding of what the pattern is. What is the pattern that's feeding it? What is the bottom belief? So in Theta Healing, we call it the bottom belief. In hypnotherapy, we call it the core initiator. But what those sort of like fancy-ish sort of terms refer to is that at some point in time, something has happened that formed a belief in your mind. And then maybe something else happened after that which fit that belief, and it turned into a core pattern, like a core belief of who you are in your subconscious mind. And because of that, you are having a certain, whenever something happens that activates that, you have the experience that sort of, really stems from that pattern. Now, it seems like quite a broad concept to accept sometimes, but think about it like this. As human beings, we need to understand how to operate through this life in order to actually carry on. So we need to have certain beliefs, we need to have certain understandings. And obviously certain things happen which are really, really amazing, and certain things happen that are not that amazing. But there is nothing that is freestanding in this world. Okay? So I said to myself, okay, so this is a pattern that's reflecting back to me. What is the reason why I'm feeling this way? And one of the best questions that you can ask yourself is, when is the last time that I felt this way? And then you open yourself to just thinking about it. Don't try too hard to focus on whose fault it is and anything like that, because everybody in this life has got stuff to deal with. If you're on this planet, you've got stuff to deal with. You've had some experiences. Some were very positive, some were very negative. And blaming other people for our patterns, for our beliefs, it really doesn't benefit you at all. It really, really doesn't benefit you. You've got this idea that if I can just pin how it is their fault, then that is going to help me. But that is just really placing the blame on someone else and the responsibility on someone else's shoulders for your life to do better. you know. And the simple truth of the matter is, whether you were twins, whether you were triplets or whatever, you came into this world on your own and you're going to leave in this world on your own, and you are the only person that you have to live with on this planet. All right. So the better you get to know yourself, the better you can do. All right. So here's a process for discovering what it is. Very simple way to begin to do some introspection and to discover what is feeding the pattern. All right. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right. This relaxes you, it brings you into the present moment. Then you simply ask your mind, when is the last time I felt this way? And just allow your mind to wander. Don't fixate on anything specifically. And so you get something, okay, this is the last time I felt this way. Okay, great. Might there have been an earlier time that I felt this way. And you just let your mind bring the answers to you. Okay? So what I actually finally came about, and sorry, what I actually need to add to that is that I think like 3 days prior to that, myself and another mutual friend also took the doggies for a walk. And then, you know, this little Yorkie also sort of like pancake because he likes to just go with his human, you know. And I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't even think about it. And I realized, and this is the first thing that made me realize this must be a pattern. Because remember, first of all, when something happens, we in this moment, oh my goodness, this is happening now. We're so in the moment. But when you breathe and you center yourself by breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, you center yourself in the moment. You take too many emotions and stuff out of the equation and just say to yourself, okay, I am feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling demotivated. I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling. And you just sit with it. Don't try to get rid of it. All right? A lot of times when we, for example, feel anxiety, we try so hard to get rid of the anxiety that we consequently just cause ourselves to have more anxiety. All right? Doesn't really work, does it? So just acknowledge to yourself, so I would say to myself, almost in third person, so I'm not so in it, you know, not I am feeling depressed. I would always imagine that there's like a being above in the sky looking down and saying, oh, there's Adrian walking his dog, feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling overwhelmed. That's it. I wonder why he's feeling that way. I wonder when is the last time he felt this way. And you can do the same for yourself. You know, I wonder when is the last time he felt, and not when is the last time I felt that way. When is the last time he felt that way? When is the last time she felt that way? When is the last time they felt that way? All right, so you kind of observe to see what you can see. Okay? And then as you do that, you kind of move out of this me, I situation, which makes, you know, the mind likes to make things personal. I am suffering. I am overwhelmed. They always do that to me. But on a deeper level, we already know that there is a deeper core reason why we have certain experiences. For example, let's say something really terrible happened to someone. You will always hear them say, this always happens to me. Why does this always happen to me? I don't understand why this always happens to me. I'm so sick and tired of this always happens to me. No matter how hard I try, nothing ever works out for me. I always get to the same sort of end result. So on a deeper level, we already understand that there is a reason within us, within our beliefs, within our belief system, within our subconscious mind, that is causing us to have the experience. But also, something to remember is that the mind does actually like drama, you know. So if you feel that this and this and that, the mind's going to be like, yes, 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 you know, I'm happy or I'm sad or I'm whatever, and it really celebrates that and it sticks to it because it's like the ego, it makes it feel important, all right? And even when you look at people that are fighting, if you can think of an example, or next time when you see 2 people or more than 2 people fighting, you will notice that people are hardly ever fighting what they're actually fighting about. So let's say you observe a couple, let's make it a man and a woman, you know, so you observe, and imagine yourself being invisible. So you're just observing them, you're not taking anybody's sides, you've got no personal interest in this matter. You are just there observing. It's like watching something on television. And then, you know, the woman says, you know, the woman cooked this nice meal for the man to soften the blow, you know, because maybe she just wants to resolve the issue. Doesn't mean that she's trying to manipulate him. And then she gives him this meal, this nice meal, and she says, you know what? I had to bring in the dustbin again. And then he doesn't answer, so she doesn't feel heard or doesn't feel acknowledged. And then she, with a little bit of an itch in the tone, she's like, did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? It's like, yeah, I heard you, you know. Because in his mind, he may say it or he may not say, I've been working all day long, I've come from work, I'm tired, why couldn't you just bring in the bin? How is that such an issue? But for all we know, maybe he had some other issues at work that this woman doesn't know about, or he didn't talk about because maybe he doesn't want to bring his precious home, or whatever it may be. All right? Um, and then this escalates, and then something that started out as I had to bring in the bin or take out the bin or, do whatever again, I had to sort out the taxes and we agreed that you're going to do it, then escalates into, but you always do this. We keep on talking about this thing and it's like you never hear me and you never respect me and you never acknowledge me. Do you see how we're no longer talking about the bin? And sometimes if you listen very closely, not even that closely, you just listen without having an opinion, you might even hear where the core belief of this might come from, you know. And the woman may say that I try my absolute best, and you think because you always, you do all the, you earn the money, you don't realize that I'm at home and I have to do the work, and I have to look after the kids and wash the dog, and um, this reminds me of what the relationship between my mother and my father. And when I was young, I said it will never happen to me. And sometimes when you talk to a friend as well, we can hear that, And even when someone comes to see me, it's about listening without judging. Then you can actually hear and says, well, you know what? When I was growing up, my father used to do this to my mother as well, and I vowed that it would never happen to me. But it was a belief in your mind. So you recreated it. We will always draw people into our lives that will be in alignment with our core beliefs of who we are. And it's important to understand that these things are not personal. The subconscious mind is not, it's rather neutral. It doesn't make judgments and stuff like that. All right? So let me explain to you what I did, and then that could maybe help you if you are dealing with something similar and you want to understand some of the things that are holding you back. So I said to myself, okay, so there's Adrian walking his dog. So first of all, what is the space that I'm in? I'm getting out of the space of I'm feeling this. So there's Adrian walking his dog and he's feeling depressed. I wonder why he's feeling depressed. I wonder why his energy is suddenly feeling down. He had such a great day. He was feeling so productive. He created some graphic designs. He was really proud of them. He was, very excited about how far he's come in his journey, how his creativity is unlocked. He was excited about, the Theta Healing coaching that he's currently taking. He's very excited about the things that he does. I wonder why all of a sudden his energy may have shifted. I wonder what happened. When did his energy start to shift? What happened before the shift? So when did it start? It started when he took the other doggie home. Okay, that's interesting. So when are some other times that he may have felt this way? And for a moment I didn't get it, so I just kept on walking. Just kept on walking my doggie, smelled in the air, looked at the beautiful sunset, and allowed the space, the answers to come to me. A lot of times in frustration we want the answers to come to us, but then more often they do not. Then you just get frustrated about the fact that you don't get the answer. But then if you kind of place yourself in a calmer space first, the answer will come to you. And you know what is interesting what I got? I remembered when I was very, very young, there was a fight in my family. And everybody was very much on their own station. And I was a very, very young child still and was very close to one of my cousins. And I just wanted her to hold me because everybody was screaming around me and everybody was shouting and I wasn't really sure what the fighting was about. But it was feeling very overwhelming and I knew it had something to do with myself and my sister. I didn't know what, but I knew it had something to do with us. And when I kind of wanted to come closer to my cousin, who I was incredibly close to, she was like, oh my goodness, I don't have time for you right now. Can you just give me some space? Now, fair enough. Remember, first of all, I didn't really know what the fight was about. And she is much older than me. All right? It's not a personal thing. So I knew that the people that I love were fighting. Everybody was shouting, everybody was screaming, people were crying, people were slamming doors, people were getting in their cars and, taking off with screeching tires, I'm out of here. And I didn't know what the fight was about, but all my mind knew that it was something centered around me. It might not even have been all about me or all about us. It might have been something that we just maybe came into the equation somehow. But what the mind understands is that the people that I love are unhappy, are upset, and somehow I'm the cause of that. Doesn't matter why you're the cause, the bottom line is you're the cause. Alright? So that means that you are sort of like a threat to the people that you love. That your love is a threatening thing. It's a treacherous thing. It's a dangerous thing. That's the pattern that the mind takes on. Okay? So this cousin that I love, this family that I love, and this cousin especially that I love so much, that I could go sit with since I was really young and just, talk my crap and be the almost sort of like weird young child, because I've been highly intuitive since I was born, which kind of made me very different from other people because I saw the world completely different from other people. It was difficult for me to sort of like relate to the world, to fit into the world, and I think it was difficult for people to relate to me. They didn't know quite how to place me. So then this one person that you could always kind of be yourself with and feel safe with, in this moment when you are not feeling safe, you're feeling threatened and overwhelmed, rejected you. Okay? Now I'm staying with my friend. So at the moment, I have just moved from my apartment and I'm still in the process of looking for another apartment. So I'm kind of in that same space because this took place at my family home in Cape Town. Originally, I grew up in the country, so also I wasn't at my own actual house. I wasn't at my own actual home. I was at someone else's home where people loved me. So in the same token, I'm staying at my friend's house, who is a gorgeous, gorgeous person, and we really love and care for each other. But do you see how the mind sees it? The mind doesn't make it personal. The mind is neutral. It just is black and white. Okay, it's like binary code. Whatever the sequence is determines what the picture, the writing, the whatever is. Okay, the end result is. So what the mind sees is that you're in a space where you are feeling safe, where you love people, where people love you, where you can be yourself, where you are supported. But now somehow because my friend was also really tired, she did a lot of work. So the mind says that you disappointed that person because the dog is important to my friend, and so the doggy likes to go for a walk here. And the mind says, you couldn't even do that. And so do you see how, because remember as I said, so this is what I meant to say. So when our mutual friend and I, 3 days prior, took the doggies for a walk, I was holding my dog, and our mutual friend was holding the other doggy's leash. And then the doggy also pancaked. Then we took him home. Never thought about it again. But you see, because it was the friend that it happened to. It wasn't me, it wasn't personal. But then when it happened to me, the mind says, oh, there you go again. Alright? And I say, so when is the other time that I felt this way? Now, obviously, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm very good at finding the bottom belief or the core initiator. But it takes some practice. Okay? So what you then do is, first of all, take the 3 deep breaths. Then, move into the third person. So you're not in denial about what's happening. You just get a broader observation, because when you are the person that this is happening to me and I, then you are too involved to be sort of like independently observational. So when you then say, okay, so there's Adrian, imagine yourself a person in the sky looking down, almost like just being interested, just being intrigued. Imagine yourself being like a invisible spiritual being or something like that, just observing humanity, like an alien maybe. Use your imagination to your benefit. Okay, so there's Adrian walking. That is his experience. Interesting. That's how he's feeling. I wonder why he feels that way. I wonder when some other times he felt that way. But also I wonder what is maybe something that we can bring into this equation before we even look deeper that can maybe, lighten the load a little bit. Bring what is something nice we can bring into the space. If he got someone coming into the space that gave him exactly what he needed, what would that be? Maybe it would be a hug. Then you hug yourself. Maybe it will be somebody that reminds you this is just a moment in time, that this moment doesn't determine your entire life. He says, well, you know what, I know how you feel. I'm not discarding how you feel. But let's also maybe look at a beautiful sunset. Let's look at those birds flying above in the sky. All right? Let's see how beautiful the grass still is. Winter's coming soon, then everything is probably going to die a little, go into rest. But look at how beautiful green it still is. Look at those people exercising over there. Become aware of this beautiful breath going across your face. And then when he's ready, he can allow the clarity, the answers to come to him in a way that serves his highest and best good. It doesn't mean that it comes right away. It could maybe come in a breakthrough conversation you have with somebody. It could be a dream that you have. It could be the following day. It could be the following week. Okay? But the more we press against things, the less we actually get to the clarity that we desire. So what I want you to know is that we create our own experience of life. We literally do. But we are also genetic beings. And a lot of the patterns that we have, a lot of the challenges that we have are genetically inherited patterns. Because remember, as human beings, we are copies of each other. You know? And the example that I like to use is that if you cut a little piece of branch of a tree that grows white roses and it has thorns. When you propagate that and you plant it in a pot or the ground or whatever, it only makes common sense that you are going to get a rose tree that grows white roses that has thorns. If you have anything other than that, it will be really fucking strange, you know. But remember, there's also certain things that you can do. Maybe you want to get a different plant, you know. You can sort of change things, but now you get parents. So now, remember that for any of you that might know anything about, you know, sort of crossbreeding plants or anything like that. So let's say you take two rose bushes, maybe of the same sort of family. And so you've got these white roses and you also have these bright red roses. And now you kind of like do a coupling and you mix the whole thing together and now you get a new tree. Chances are, better than not, that you're going to get a version of those something in between. So you're probably going to get pink roses, you know, or a very light pink or light red or dark, whatever, you know. But you're going to get something that's a mix in between. But it only makes sense that the final end result that you get is directly influenced by what you started with. It's the same thing with human beings. Two people get together, a sperm cell and an egg cell get together and they form a new human being. So you are born with your patterns. They more often than not, they inherit it. And a lot of times, we may have an experience, you know, especially, you know, so what I predominantly do, I'm a tarot reader, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I'm a Theta Healer, and also a massage therapist, you know. So to me, it's all sort of branches of the same thing. Because in tarot reading, I can see the pattern and relate it to you, which is really, really cool, because a lot of times we want to heal, we want to change, but we are not yet ready to come face to face with ourselves, and that is fine. That's fine. You know, any change is positive progress. Massages, a lot of times we keep tension in our bodies. Because remember the two roses, it's in the body, it's in the genetics. Okay, and that can cause a lot of things like illness and stuff like that. And obviously I sort of like, you know, team that up with, you know, with Reiki energy healing, and sometimes I bring crystals into it, and maybe sort of like some sound healing and stuff like that, depending on what it is that the client needs. I don't believe in just being a stickler for this is how it must be. For me, it's always what do you need. But when you're really ready to, you know, to dig deeper, then you've got two beautiful options. One is hypnotherapy. That is just when it comes to me. Remember, there are many things that you can do out there. This is just what I do, you know. So I've explained to you from my perspective, and this is not the only and the definitive perspective. And you know, people have this idea of saying like, well, my modality is better than anybody else, and nobody knows how. You know, if you just do what I do, I'm telling you, like yours is whatever subservient to mine, and it's just ego. And a lot of times we do get that, you know, practitioners and healers and energy healers and those type of things, you know, practitioners, they we live in a world that doesn't always fully embrace this type of practices, even though that's beautifully changing this earth, which is great. So you have to justify what you do, which means you have to have this superior or better sort of like practice. So if there is something that you have, then it means that you've got some inner work to do, and we all have inner work to do all the time. The moment that you start feeling like, I don't need to do any more inner work, now it doesn't mean that you have to be on this mission to do inner work, because if you look for problems, you're going to find them. But just be open to change. Today, this is what I believe. Today, this is what I do. And tomorrow, I have a different understanding. I've got a broader sort of like concept, whatever. And then that's what I see. If you look at some of my earlier videos, then you will see how I have grown through my understanding. All right? Doesn't mean that you were wrong before. You were right based on the perception, the knowledge and understanding that you had. But as human beings, we are sticklers for sticking to ideas. Something's been done for the past 2,000 years, so it must be done this way still. Meanwhile, the world has changed so much. You know what I'm saying? So with hypnosis, so something that a lot of people often ask me or wonder about, and which I myself actually wondered about, is what is the difference between hypnosis and Theta Healing? So hypnosis, ancient practice, about 5,500 years old. As far as we know, that's how old it is. It might be much older than that. It is about going into a focus state. Doesn't have to be this deep relaxing state. It's a focus state where the conscious mind is taken out of the equation and we can speak directly to the subconscious mind, to find out what the pattern is. But it's very much about following the subconscious mind, letting the subconscious mind show you what it's ready to show you. But it can sometimes take you in a lot of circles. It's a beautiful, wonderful practice, but sometimes they can take you in a lot of zigzaggy sort of patterns. Whereas Theta Healing is very to the point. It's boom, 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 boom. Works with the highest source of all. And I would always say to people, people would say to me, which is better? Which do you say I should have first? And I would say it's a personal choice. But I would say if you're really looking for a sequence, and I want you to know that this is a very loose sequence based on experience, I would say tarot reading first, Theta Healing session, hypnosis, and then a massage. And you can maybe swap the massage and the hypnosis around, But the point of this video is just that we all have patterns. And even when you go look at your past lives, so you might be a young lady, experience yourself as an old man, and you're like, I don't get that. But it's about, where does this genetic pattern come from? What is the initiating core, the bottom belief of why you are having what you are having? It's nobody's fault. Remember that our ancestors, in many different ways, it doesn't matter their background, their social status, their racial status, their financial status. The world, we have this idea that the world is more rough than it's ever been before. The world has been a fucking crazy playground place, roller coaster, like 100 years ago. Okay? So have some compassion for yourself. Have some kindness towards yourself. Don't feel that you have to have life together. Earth is a school. We came here to learn. We came here to experience. We came here to refine ideas. We came here to make up our mind and then change our mind, And we're this one big soul family that helps us. And when you really think about it, it is usually the people that activate you the most or challenge you the most or whatever you the most that maybe brings you to a space where you say to yourself, no, I'm not going to do this. I deserve better. I deserve something different. So has that person done you a disservice? Or have they done you a service? Maybe something someone else has done has brought you to this moment. And then when you discover that pattern, then it's so easy to say, oh, so it's my cousin's fault that I'm having this experience. Bad cousin. But if that was just a soul, well, this is an actual biological member or a soul family member, and you say to the person, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Because for all you know, I haven't done any deeper digging than that, but in a session you go to deeper digging, you say, okay, was this the first time that I had this experience, or might it be sooner? So here comes the difference in with hypnosis and Theta Healing. And just to let you know that Theta Healing, which is the Theta mind state, which is all called the God frequency, it sort of like looks at the patterns itself and goes, well, okay, when did you might have it again? So we look at it, we say, okay, so when might have been another time when you may have had that? And when may have been another time. Just because that's what came up for me doesn't mean that that was the time that the pattern itself initiated. Maybe that situation itself was actually brought about by an existing pattern. That may be a pattern that I was born with, which is very probable in my case, where my needs are not always respected. They're not met because they're not acknowledged because, people's doing their own stuff. It's very easy to blame other people for our stuff. But remember, everybody's on their own mission on this planet, and everybody's got a whole family lineage of a whole lot of crap that has happened in their family lineage, and a whole lot of things that they inherited in their genetics and beliefs that they inherited in their genetics. We're so quick to blame other people instead of taking responsibility for it. Because you can handle the situation one of two ways. You can pick up the phone and say, hey, you caused me this experience. Or you can say, thank you that you highlighted this to me. I wasn't aware of the fact that I have this pattern. So thank you for that. And I choose to forgive you, and I choose to forgive myself, and I choose to thank you, and I choose to thank myself for coming to this realization. Let's bring some light in here. Let's call the higher light of source into this moment. Okay? We all have patterns. And here's the thing. I don't want you to get to this point in life where you're going to be, heading to get to a space that if I only reach this mindset, this pattern, this belief, this whatever, this space, then I am healed and I'm cool and life's going to be great. This is a school. When you've got no more work to do on yourself, then it's time to leave. It doesn't mean that your life has to be unhappy. Okay? Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to be happy. Give yourself a chance to be successful. Give yourself a chance to shine. Nobody else is going to do it, not because they don't want it, because people's got their own stuff going on. We place so much responsibility on other people for our happiness and our well-being. But it's called your life for a reason. It's your life. It's your experience of life. You chose to come here. You chose your family. You chose your circumstances. And something that I always recommend to my clients, I'll say to them, okay, whether you believe this or not, let's just play with the idea. Let's just entertain the idea. So if you did come to this planet, if you did choose to come here, and you do choose your family, and you did choose your circumstances, and people would say, like, I wouldn't choose that. But let's just for a moment imagine that you did. Why do you think that might have been? And let's for a moment take yourself out of the equation of your own life, and let's imagine we are looking at someone else's life. Maybe like watching a television program that is interesting, and it's got your attention, but you're not really all that committed to the outcome. If something else more important comes up, you'll leave the television. So you're watching it, but it's got your attention and your focus, but you're not so in it, So if, let's say, for example, we're talking about me, let's say I'm the client. So, the practitioner says to me, okay, Adrian, so if, let's just for a moment imagine that you did choose to come to this planet, and you did choose your family, and you did choose your race and your circumstances and your health status and all those type of things. Why do you think that may have been? If it's nothing right or wrong, we're just simply looking here to gain a deeper understanding. It's almost like a Sherlock Holmes investigation. You are just looking to see. You're just looking at clues. You're not committed to anything. Why do you think that may be? What do you think the reason for that may have been? Why would you have left the euphoric wonders of the spirit world or heaven or whatever and come here? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that might be? Why do you think that you came to this planet? Why do you think that you chose your family? What do you think you may have gotten from there? What do you think might be the virtues that you gained from? I'll give you some from my life. So as a child, I always felt like a mistake. I was convinced that, that this God must have made some mistake when he made me, must have had an off day. Okay? But if I did come here with all of that, with all of the things that I had, what virtues did he give me? it gave me the ability to really see people. It helped me to develop the ability to see past people's masks. And it made me realize, kind of figure out to myself, that if I look at people with no judgment and no expectation, and, just, I suppose later on I would call that unconditional love, but look at you with no judgment, what may I see? And I'm telling you, since I was a really, really young boy, I'm talking about 6 and 7 and even 5, people would come up to me and they tell me these things. I'm like, you shouldn't be telling me these things. I'm a child. But when you have no judgment, people feel safe with you. And because I always felt very, very judged, at some point I realized that, well, that's their opinion of me. That's the way they see me, but that's not the way I choose to see myself. I choose to see something different. It's like when I was in high school, for example, which was sort of like in the late 1990s. So I finished high school in the year 2000. Everybody was on about the Y2K. The world's going to come to an end. If you don't know about Y2K, go and look that up. It's quite interesting, because it was the shift in the world. And even when you think about that, I thought about this the other day, and I thought to myself, it's so amazing when you think about it. We don't always realize the miracle that we are and the miracle that we exist in. It's so amazing when I think about it. Because I got to experience the end and the beginning of a new millennium. That enough is reason to come to this planet. In order to have the experience as a human being, you need to be here. And I'm a very curious being, so that enough is reason for me. I can see why I would do that. I love the idea of helping people to discover what's holding them back, and then to move past that. And in order to do that, what really developed that for me was feeling very much under the microscope. And then deciding I'm not going to go that way, and beginning to see, okay, why do people put me under the microscope? And I realized that it's fear. Because here I am, young little boy, and remember the world has changed fundamentally in this last, what are we now, 2024? It's actually my birthday in, 6 days? Today is July the 2nd, my birthday July the 8th, I'm turning 42. Okay? The world has changed fundamentally in a short period of time. And everybody's on about, AI is so bad. And what always kind of interests me is that you complain about AI on something like a mobile phone, which is an AI device. So I can see when I look at my life, why I would choose to come here. Why I would choose to have the challenges. Because they awakened me to the true being of who I am. They awakened me to the understanding of why people operate the way that they do. And I believe that my mission I came to this planet was to help people to do better, to release generational patterns, which is no small task, nor is it an easy one. You don't really need someone to help you with that. It's going to be like, bad girl, bad boy, or whatever your pronoun is, Because I think a lot of times especially, but that is changing, which is great. But with a more westernized approach, we've got this thing of like, what's wrong with you? We get a hyperactive child and we want to give the child Ritalin, which I don't even know why it's legal anymore. It's worse than cocaine. Now, I remember when I was a young child, because I was very questioning, why, very hyperactive, very all over the place. And from what I understand, the doctor wanted to put me on Ritalin. My mother was like, no fucking way. Thank goodness for that. But don't you then think that maybe I chose that mother for that reason as well? Because I knew the personality that I needed to have, or wanted to have, or chose to have. And it's so easy to look at the mistakes of our parents, but, had my mother not put down a foot, my life would have been very different. And here's the funny thing, because we are genetic copies of each other, the things that are bothering you about your parents are really the things that are bothering you within yourself, because what you observe within them is the space from which you are observing it. It's like when you dream a big, beautiful dream. The dream that you are dreaming, you're actually observing it from the space where you already achieved it, because there's a dimension, a version of yourself that is fully living out that beautiful possibility. You know what I'm saying? So it's because we are genetic copies, something is subconscious. You see it in your parents and it irritates you, but if you're a copy of them, then you must have it in you too. And we try to fix our parents. We try to fix our significant others in our lives and, you know, all those type of things. But if everything is just a mirror reflection of you, then doesn't it only make sense that if you change, everything else changes? You change your beliefs, you're willing to dig deeper within yourself. And this can be very enlightening work. It could be a little challenging sometimes. But the more you do it, the better you get, and the better your life gets. And then, you know, you may have problems with love or health or money or all those type of things, confidence. Those are all problems that I had. In some stages still do. You know, just because I help other people doesn't mean I have my life fully sorted out. And for many, many years I had this idea that in order to be legitimate, I had to be this shining beacon of perfection, otherwise I'll be a fraud. That's actually a belief I had up until very recently. And Theta Healing helped me to actually discover where I got that from. Okay? You don't have to be perfect to follow your dreams. And besides, a life without a dream is pretty bland. You came here to shine. I personally see challenges as an opportunity to grow forward. What is bringing this about? Okay. Know that whatever you are facing in this world, whatever recurring problem you are having, it might be trying to tell you something. Something very interesting that I found through tarot reading. Now, I've probably done thousands of tarot readings in my life. You know, personal ones, group ones, all those ones. I came to find that a lot of times when we have a lot of problems, you know, health, love, confidence, job, all those type of things, usually it is the same core belief, the same pattern that is expressing itself in different ways. And the more problematic things are, the more ready you actually to move away from it. Very interesting. And we give ourselves all these ideas for why we can't. If only I could afford it, if only I had the time. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, instead of saying I'm going to find a way, I'm going to allow the universe, God, source, my subconscious mind, all that is, to pave the way for me. I'm willing to be willing to be willing. And I'm open. The solution will come to you. It will definitely come to you. Look at some of my recent videos, especially on Theta Healing, and you'll see how the solution came for me. Okay? I wish you everything beautiful. I wish you everything successful. I wish you everything wonderful. Know that you are a miracle. Know that you are the universe expressing itself in human form. Did you know that in every atom is all the knowledge of the universe? And since you exist of many, many atoms, it means you've got all of this universal knowledge of all the ages within you, of the entire universe, all of creation. Creation is bigger than the universe. So your knowledge that resides within you is bigger than the universe. Imagine if you could access it. And that's what I'm passionate about helping people with. So keep on following the channel if you're interested in this kind of material. I look forward to your comments. Let's please keep our comments kind and respectful. The world is unkind enough. Like the video if it resonates with you, share it. If you want to book a personal reading, you can reach out to me. My contact details are down below in the description. I've got some coaching options in the description. And for me, whatever I coach, whether it's, you know, like my abundance manifestation course, my spiritual starter kit, oracle card reading, tarot reading, for me, it's always not just about learning the skill, but growing through it. So check it out. And I look forward to your comments or your connections. And may the rest of your life, my beautiful cosmic sibling, may the rest of your life be the best of your life, to your best and highest interest. So it is said, and so it is. Namaste.